Family is supposed to be safe, but for many women, home is where the fear lives. Family bonds are often seen as unbreakable, a lifelong connection meant to stand the test of time. But what happens when abuse enters the picture? Can it really tear apart even the strongest or the closest families? The answer, sadly, is yes. Abuse has destroyed countless families, leaving behind deep emotional scars, broken homes, and children carrying trauma for life. Abuse comes in many forms: emotional, physical, verbal, and financial abuse. And each one leaves its own unique wounds. Emotional abuse can be especially damaging because it's often invincible to outsiders. Verbal abuse, it chips away a person's self-worth, making them feel small, dismissed, and unimportant. The impact varies from person to person and family to family. But one thing is certain: abuse breeds fear, it breeds mistrust and sadness. In some tragic cases, even death. The emotional fallout often affects children. It affects children the most, shaping their future in painful ways. Recently in the news, we saw the heartbroken case of Osinachi Nwachukwu, a beautiful, a beloved Nigerian gospel singer. I love listening to her song. Her life was cut short by years of domestic abuse. Her husband was convicted and sentenced to death by hanging for the role he played in her tragic end. As a woman, I feel some comfort knowing justice is served, that justice is finally being served. But as a mother, I worry deeply for their children. Their lives have been shattered. They lost their mom to violence, and now they've lost their dad to prison. The trauma they are facing is unimaginable. And in addition, whether we like it or not, this kind of trauma will shape their life, will shape their emotional and mental health for years to come. The case of Osinachi is not isolated. There are cases of women going to bed and never woken up, women poisoned, women set on fire. No autopsy, no accountability. Women, please be aware. Be conscious of the relationship you're going into, because abuse affects families all over the world. There is another story making headlines presently, that of Dr. John Boyd in the United States of America. He murdered his wife, Noreen, by suffocation. Before before her death, Noreen sensed she was in danger. She did something remarkable. She prepared her 11-year-old son, Collier Landry. Noreen told her son, if your father ever says, I've just left, that I've left you, call all my friends. Tell them to call the police. And that's exactly what this 11-year-old boy did. This young boy ended up testifying in court against his own father. Can you imagine that? At 11 years old, he had to stand in court knowing his mother was gone and that he'd lose his father. He had to carry the fear his mother lived with. He had to carry the grief, the confusion, and the trauma of the moment. And while still being a child, no wonder so many young people these days are battling anxiety, depression, mental health struggles. No wonder. What are we doing to our children when we allow abuse to go unchecked? What are we teaching our future generations? But here is the powerful part of Collier's story. Through love, support, and therapy, he found healing. He created a documentary titled A Mother in Mansfield, and he started a podcast to help other survivors. Even as his father's parole is coming up, Collier continues to stand strong. It is a reminder of what's possible when pain is faced with courage. That young boy who is now a full-grown man's story is proof that healing is possible, even after deep betrayal and loss. But it takes conscious action, and it often starts with listening to your God. So, my beloved women all over the world, if you are in a situation that doesn't feel right, don't ignore the signs. Don't wait until it is too late. Take small steps. Have a trusted friend or family member you can contact. Create a safety plan. Document what is happening. Teach your children what to do if something happens. These are not acts of fear. They are acts of protection. Listen, you are better alive for your children than loyal to someone who is harming you. Your safety matters. You are not weak for preparing. You are wise. Abuse has power to damage families, but it doesn't have to define that family. By acknowledging the problem, seeking help, taking conscious steps, healing is possible. If you've been affected by abuse or know someone who has, share your thoughts in the comments. Help other people. And please check out my next video on healing from family trauma, where I will offer practical steps, resources, and encouragement for your journey. You are not alone. You are not broken. And there is always a way out and a way forward. As always, God's blessings.